Okay, yeah, it's time for more KSP. I did want to point out that if you notice that my voice sort of changes, it's because I don't swallow the mic like some people do. You know, like you see, if you've ever seen like behind the scenes footage of actors and stuff like that, they have the mic like stuffed down their throats while they're talking. I don't do that. And of course I move around because of course this chair is not suitable for sitting for long periods of time. Come on, load. So we are back with KSP, naturally. I don't have the skipper engine, not the skipper, the saber. See, I was kind of close there when I said the wrong thing. Kind of. Saber, skipper, they're broadly... I know I'm reaching, but still, doesn't matter. They're kind of close. So, let's see here. So, since our goal is to bring all of this back, like that. Ooh, wait. I'm gonna need the inline, blah, blah, blah. There we go. We're gonna need RCS, and that's what I like about this, is I can see exactly where I need to put the RCS ports. Just like that, bam. So, I need to go to the moon to collect all of the signs from the moon, or at the very least 90% of the signs from the moon. And to do that, I need structural. That's what I was looking for. I need to rebuild my old ship. Now, those little engines were fine for getting the job done. Way out in the middle of nowhere. The problem is I'm going to be carrying a lot more weight this time. So those tiny little engines I don't think are going to be enough to meet my needs. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump up to these engines. Those should be powerful enough to get me where I need to go in something vaguely resembling a decent time frame. Lower those down. Now I do, while I'm here, oops, a little bit off tilt there. There we go, about there. Now I do, while I'm here, need to check something out. Because of course I have the lab up there in space, and I'm going to be pulling the lab with this. I need to make sure that the lab is not going to come in contact with those engines, and it won't. Good. That's wonderful. Actually, I am going to need more fuel than that, aren't I? Yeah, I'm going to need way more fuel than that. Especially for all the stuff I plan on doing. So we add that tank there. That should, in theory, because of course, as I always say, everything always works in theory. That should, in theory, be enough fuel to collect all the signs from the moon. And of course, once I'm in space, those engines will have sufficient enough thrust to get us where we need to go. It may take forever, but they can do it. Yeah, I am feeling a little bit leery about that. Now, you see, if I had the nuclear engines, this wouldn't be a problem. But I mean, I really don't want to use those because I know once I get to the moon, those are going to be way too powerful. And those would work, but this thing's got 100 pounds of thrust, so... Because that's 50 and 50, so that's 100 for the whole ship. So that should be more than enough. Yeah, that'll be enough. Let it go, man. Let it go. Oh, you know what? I really should put those on like that, shouldn't I? If you're wondering why, it's because I recently got something in one of my science purchases that is gonna make getting in and out of this ship damn sight easier. The only problem is it requires me to have nothing underneath it. If you're wondering, I'm speaking naturally, of course, about the ladder. Which actually, I would like the fold down ladder, because I think that one does better. Oh, just the one. See, the thing is, if I have the ladder, then I can basically just climb up and down it, and I don't have to use my EVA fuel to get back into the ship. You don't actually have to have these things evenly spaced, believe it or not. But I like to because, well, like I said, it's my not quite OCD. That should be enough, I think, to facilitate. See, because now the problem is, where am I going to put the landing gears? And no, I can't just, well, I could do 3. It would be terribly, terribly unstable, though, on that one side. See what I mean? I mean, to tell you the truth, it actually would be better to have the RCS port there, but I think the RCS port is going to cause a problem with the ladder. And I know for sure the Kerbals won't be able to get down it. But, you know what I could do? It'll make everything a little bit more difficult on me, but not by much. I could do that. Put the, landing gear dangerously close to the RCS ports. But since they're just shooting out air anyway, it shouldn't make a lick of difference. Alright, so we'll move those up. You see, the problem is, if I extend those out, you see how far out they come from the bottom of the ladder? And they have in here somewhere, which does not look like I've unlocked, a retractable ladder. I really need to go into the sandbox mode and play with some more of those stuff. Alright. So there's all that. Right? Then, of course, I need to attach... Oh, wait. Because I don't have anything on the top of that. Oh, man, that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a huge, huge problem. Yeah, that's going to be a huge problem. I might actually have to put those landing gears out farther. Oh, man. Because I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, well, I know for sure I don't have a cone on the top of the lab, which means I don't have any way of ensuring that the lab section does not... Wait a minute, you know what? I could probably use this. So if I do that, hang on. This may be a simple case of... So we set those there, right? So how far... Oh, that's perfect. That'll work nicely. Because then I can attach. Yeah. Alright. So, minor screw up on my part, but I can do that. And those should still come out just... I mean, look at that. There's the bottom of the landing gear. There's the bottom of the arch. Wow, that is dangerously close. Man, is there something else I could put down there, though? You know what I could put down there? Oh, that's a brilliant idea, guys. Thank you for that. Because you could never have too much fuel. See, I could do that, which would give me more fuel. And so now that's well away from the landing gears. And then I can do that, and that's the landing gears aren't going to come in contact with. Ooh, that's perfect. That was an excellent idea, guys. Thank you. Yeah, those ladders aren't lining up. Oops. Probably would also help if I had that turned off and that turned on. There we go. There. So that basically, aside from the solar panels, which I will be putting them on. As a matter of fact, I just said it, so before I forget, let me go ahead and put them on now. Let me see. Ooh, we'll also need batteries. We'll set the batteries. Need 2 batteries there and there. But since there's going to be a Kerbal inside of here, it's not 100% necessary. I mean, he'll still be able to like fire up the engine, but I don't think that engine has a generator on it, does it? Oh, you know what? I don't think it does. It does not. Yeah. So you see, it says electrical charge down there at the bottom, at the very bottom. Yeah. And of course at the top it says alternator output. Yeah, that doesn't have a alternator on there. So yeah, okay. That's a bit of a problem. Not a lot of a problem, but a bit. So let's go back to fuel here, because of course I need to make sure all of my fuel stuffs are running in the proper direction. So all the fuel needs to go into those tanks. Bien. Très bien. Now let me see. Because these engines are actually going to what are going to be taking me out there. Or should I use different engines? Probably should have fitted engines onto the side of the lab, huh? Didn't think about that. Well, I did think about that, but it wasn't like massively necessary. So, full. Here we go. So let's get plenty of solar panels. All the fuel is running to the right place. Okay, those solar panels look a bit tad, but you know, whatever. We need more parachutes because, of course, this whole thing is going to need to come home. So there's that, and then just to be on the safe side, there we go. Yeah, so I want those engines and all those parachutes to fire at the same time. Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay. There. Alright, so I think we are just about finished. I will add some struts just to be on the safe side. Strut. Okay, don't know what just happened there. Hopefully my audio isn't jacked up, like it tends to want to do whenever all of this stuff happens. So it looks like we are just about ready to go, except for the fact that for some stupid reason my RCS ports on the bottom have shifted to 3 times symmetry. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Here we go. Now the landing gears are fine, but the RCS ports have to be on in pairs of 4. Otherwise you're just begging for trouble. Okay, so that should be our lander, right? Except that's not our lander. Why? Because we don't have any science on it. So we oh, that's right, I don't have any science on it. Oops. So that section needs to come off. Those are going to need to come off. That section's going to need to come off as well. Actually, I probably could have just taken that whole thing off, couldn't I? That on there. I need to rotate this. Nope. Like that. There we go. Yeah, we'll do 4 legs. Oop, no. Because that needs to be a little bit higher up. So I need to make sure it doesn't contact the thing there. Alright. Less letters. Of course, I can't have anything blocking that material bay door because it will throw a fit. Like, straight up throw a fit. That is not an exaggeration. Okay. So the ladders might be a tiny bit crooked, but that's okay. And then I need the goo containers. Will we add 2 of them? Nah. Actually, you know what? I might add 2 of them. Put 1 on either side, just so that way it looks, symmetrical. And then, of course, the thermostat. Gotta love that thermostat. So there's that there. We got an antenna, which I really need to start putting antennas on these things. Just because it'll help to... It's a big antenna, though. Yeah, why not? We'll use it as a placeholder for the time being. Alright, so that's all the science that we need, and we should be able to collect. Now, the cool thing is, well, I can collect science when I'm going up into space, when I'm in Kerbin orbit, and I don't have to worry about it because I have the lab, and I will be docking with the lab. And then I can send all the science off to the lab to be cleaned, all the experiments off to the lab to be cleaned while I'm heading out to the moon. So, we should be done with this. Okay. So what I'm going to do... Now, some of you might remember... Alright, don't know what happened there, but for some reason it crashed. Don't exactly know when it crashed. We'll go back, look at the footage, and try and put 2 and 2 together. I'm getting really sick and tired of this happening, though. This is a recent thing, by the way, not like something that's been ongoing. It's part of the reason why I ended up redoing my computer in the first doggone place. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to save this here. Let's see, where is the sub-assembly section? There we go. Sub-assembly. It's like it's thinking. Okay, I'm trying to do that. Okay. We'll call it the skipper. So the skipper, light duty lifter. There we go. Oops, there we go. There. Okay. So reattach that. So we need to go back into the less advanced settings. There we go. So I'm going to pause this here in a little bit. Try and figure out what the heck went wrong. Okay, so we're gonna pause here and I'm gonna figure out what went wrong, and when we come back I will launch this thing. Alright, I think I have a reasonably good idea of what's going on here. My problem seems to be Windows. More specifically, it seems to be one of the Windows updates seems to be wreaking havoc with my system. I don't know why. I can't fully explain it. Ooh, that strut looks like crap, doesn't it? It does. A bit better. There we go. Alright, so let's launch this thing. I've got my system doing a backup in the background. So if it's a bit laggy, that's why. It shouldn't be, though. Oh, T minus 5, 4, 3, 2. Fire! Oodles of fuel. So our first destination is going to be the International Refueling Station. We'll dock, collect the lab section, and head off to the moon. While we're here, forgot the Separatrons, that was my fault. We should be okay. I guess I could do that, but you know what, why not? Collect all the science we can get. And I'll do this one when I get into orbit, so if you're wondering why I haven't done that one yet, that's why. I actually do wonder if those little engines would make a difference when flying this thing. close. I have no idea what happened there. But that's the fun of KSP, isn't it? Oh, dang it. I forgot rule number 1. See, I was going to show you guys the easiest way to do this, but I get a little bit trigger happy sometimes, and I forget, and it tends to cause me to launch prematurely. It happens to the best of us. So we'll put that at, dang, because that's at what? 124 right now. It's at 124 and falling, it looks like. So there should be good enough, I think. Alright. $115 and 105. Hey, I can live with that. So we'll go to map, or out of map, I should say. Turn the RCS on because we should have plenty of monopropellant to turn towards our node, I think. Rotational. There we go. Maneuver node. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, that makes life so much simpler. Oh man, that's so much easier. Now I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. I mean, just being able to do that is like huge. And okay. So we're getting fairly close to it. And although I do need to be desperately careful, having that Z kick you up to full throttle is very useful. Because the problem is the Z is so dangerously close to the shift button that sometimes you can accidentally hit it. Pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. Now basically what I should have done was I should have waited until the station was about here. So here's where I launched from. Right there. I should have waited till the station was about here. By the time I got up, it would have been here. By the time I got in orbit, it would have been out here. So that way I wouldn't have to... I could go shallow on my orbit and basically play catch up. Now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to... Nice. Okay. Stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. Okay. Now what I have to do is I'm going to have to let that catch up with me. Set as target. Now the thing I need to do right now is push that out past where it's going to be. 127. Okay. About there. Good. And then when I get over there, I need to push that out to about 123. Okay. Prograde. If you would, please. I know, I just like totally burned in a random direction, didn't I? But hey, it did what I wanted it to do. Actually, I think it fixed my inclination too. Totally by accident. If there was even an inclination problem. Okay. Yeah. I like to wobble about a bit. Okay. So push that out to about there. There. Okay. So now that we're all set up, it's gonna take a while, but that is what time acceleration is for. You just need to worry about stability for the time being. And we will let this float around. So I'm going to cut all this out and just like cut back to later on. So editing me, cut now. Alright. This is taking a ridiculously long amount of time. The problem is, these two things are closing. So you see where that number is now, 118.9. Right? At a rate of approximately 24.1K every rotation. So there you go. Give or take. I mean, I think it's gradually speeding up. So if you will notice, right here, 6 days is how long it's taken for this thing to get here. And that's running, I'm running this thing at 100 times time acceleration. Hey, yeah. I mean, dude, this thing is taking forever, but that was partially my fault. Okay, it was entirely my fault, but it's not the point. So, we're now down to 94. You'll notice I also shifted focus to the planet rather than focusing on the ship, because that was just getting dizzying. Yeah, this took forever, right? Like, I mean, it was really so bad that rather than like cutting all that out in post, I actually stopped recording and then just started up again. Like, that's how long it took. Just, I was like, you know what, to heck with all this. It's just easier just to do that. See, that would have helped. Well, no, okay, no, green is target, blue is mine. Okay, that's what the problem is. So let's see where that puts us. So I think one more rotation, and then we'll start thinking about slowing down. As I said, it does look like it has picked up a bit. It looks like we're up to about 30. So that current separation is 46.3. So what does this drop us down to? $22. Okay. So yeah, it has gone up, but not by much. Right. So we'll exit out of time acceleration. Cut back from the map, and I need to point retrograde. So, like, literally, it's taken me so long that I've worked out what I can do is detach this from the main tank, right? And because there's so much fuel left in this section, what I'll do is I will actually attach this to the bottom section, the bottom half of the lab section, and use this as the engine to power me through, and then I can just save the fuel for these going in. Uh-oh. You know what I just realized too? Yeah. 5. We're on the other side of the slotting planet. Yeah, I just realized I forgot to disable the fuel crossfeed. Okay, wait a minute. before I screw everything up royally. Fortunately, I'm pointing retrograde, so that's alright. That's, you know, if those things fire, that's not that big of a deal. Okay, so we need to go here and there. Transfer fuel in. This thing's not going to notice that big of a difference, though. I also need to do the science on that, but I'll do that here in a minute. I'll get the fuel transferred over first. Alright. And then, which section? Okay, that one. Yeah, now fortunately there is still fuel in these tanks because the fuel is supposed to run this way, not... It won't run back, it'll only run... So in order for the fuel to run out of these tanks, I would actually have to physically have a line going from this tank to this one, pointing in that direction. So, as you can see, those are still full of fuel. Nope. That. In on those. And then when we're all said and done, I need to go down here, disable the stupid fuel crossfeed, which I keep forgetting to do, and I really should set that to an action group or something. Alright. Nope. Disable crossfeed. Thank you. Alright. So let's collect some science. And the primary reason I'm doing all of this is so I can show you guys kind of how the lab's gonna work. Alright, so we are pointed in that general direction, right? Our separation is fairly good. So reactivate. See what happens to our separation. Ooh. Oh wow, that's gorgeous. Okay. So RCS is on, so we'll burn backwards until that goes down as far as it's going to go down. Okay, so 1.8. 1.8 is good enough. And now we wait until, quick save, we are close enough to it that we can start doing all of that stuff again. Yeah, and then what I'll do is I'll just basically use this, because I mean there's going to be a lot of fuel left in these two sections, and because I don't have to refuel the station, because that's what I was originally going to do, was just going to leave it on there on the station as like an auxiliary fuel tank, so like when I come back. But then I was thinking, you know, why would I waste the fuel in the lab section when I could just waste the fuel in this section? I think we should, yeah, okay, good. We're still slowing down in relation to, which is nice. So we'll get swung around here. Good. Now the thing is, I want to stop there, because I think it's going to reset to try and point. So I need to give the rocket time to get back to the retrograde marker. Which fortunately, it looks like they've done some work on it, so it's not taking nearly as long. Which is only odd because I am currently not logged onto internet, because I'm backing up my system. And in the event that what I suspect to be right is actually right, as I suspect it to be. Hang on. Okay. Had a bit of a hiccup there. Okay, so exit out of map view. because you're wobbling too much. Stabilize, 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 stabilize. Okay. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to do this manually. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, rather than, you know what I will have you do? That one. I'll have you point at the target. I'll show you guys why. Because what that'll do is that'll keep me stationary, and I can use the monopropellant, the bucket loads of monopropellant I have, to bleed off the rest of everything else. And get those two right on top of each other. Oh yeah. Now that should have changed my separation to 0.6. I like 0.6. So it's 0.6 there, and it's 3.6 there, which is all very easily adjustable. So, okay. What I'll most likely do is I'll most likely cut and leave all the exciting bits in for you guys. But all these slow, boring bits, just go ahead and cut those out. Now what I need to do is I need to rotate this thing. So you focus on stability, and I'm going to rotate this so that it faces north. You might have a generalized idea of what I'm doing. More or less, I'm trying to make this a little bit easier on myself, even if it's going to make it catastrophically harder, but I love complications, so I love complicated things. So, okay. Okay. So I need that there. Right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to decouple. There we go. Okay. Come on. Dig it. Okay. So now the plus side is I can rotate the ship so that all of my stuff points the direction I want it to point. Okay. So we're still moving upward. And we seem to be moving sideways a teensy bit. Okay. Still upward. There we go. And I need to go... Fortunately, I don't have any batteries, any probes on this section, so I don't have to worry about electricity. Not nearly as much. The one thing I do have to make sure is that that doesn't go anywhere. I'm not worried about it running out of electricity. I'm just worried about it staying in one spot. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Having those lights on there, those batteries on the top, is actually a little bit beneficial, because it allows me, it more or less gives me a spot to line up with when I'm doing this. Okay, there's the pull. Come on, come on. Problem is, I think they added a like time frame for this. So after a few seconds, if it doesn't lock in, come on, lock. Like it'll automatically shut itself off. There, bam, awesome. Okay, so now I need to go here to wait. See, the problem is you gotta really be sure that you're actually clicking on that, because you can't undock the docking port from the tank or like the pro body or something like that. Yeah, it's stupid. Okay, so there's that. So RCS on. There we go. Doesn't it look awesome? I actually did have planned, I mean, this actually would not have been that big of a problem to like take all the way over there. I mean, it really wouldn't have, just with like this little section, because actually that looks kind of cool, doesn't it? That'd be awesome just seeing this thing like flying through space. That would be cool. So slow us down. And now we need to move. Let's see. We need to move that way. Yeah. That's awesome, guys. We're a little over 100 meters away from the station now, which is kind of bad. But it's also very good because that means I don't have to worry about accidentally ramming into the station. So we are ready to go to the moon.